This is the morning of January 3rd, 2025. And, good morning, everyone. I might have something prophetic for you guys. I don't want to say that lightly or whatever. I want to be very careful because what if it's just a thought in my head? What if it's from me or someone that's not God? You know what I mean? So I got to be very, very careful with what I say. So I just want to say, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, because if this is true, this is huge. But it could just be a thought that ran through my head. But anyways, so just a little bit ago, I was either dreaming this or like half asleep, you know, and just, maybe I was just imagining it. Maybe it was just a thought that entered my head and it doesn't mean anything. But, um, anyways, I had this thought in my head, this imagery of Saudi Arabia wrapped up in bubble wrap, okay? Now, what is bubble wrap for? You could see that as meaning God is protecting, because it's meant for protection, to protect something. Um, could be God protecting Saudi Arabia. But the thoughts running through my head while I was imagining this was seeing it less about God protecting Saudi Arabia, but more so God's people being protected from them, like a restrainer. My thoughts when this was entering my mind was that the imagery meant that God was restraining the Antichrist in Saudi Arabia. I don't know. That just take that very, very loosely. Don't take that as fact. It's just a thought that entered my head when I was either sleeping or half asleep this morning, and uh I I just kind of want to I don't want to keep that from you guys in case that does mean something. I'll say that, because I'm not the last thing I want is to lie to you guys or give you information that's worthless, that might not be true at all, you know. So take that with a grain of salt. There's a good chance that was just whatever, just something that popped in my head that doesn't mean anything. But you know, I will say that Saudi Arabia, it's not exactly a name that I think of very often at all. So it does feel rather specific, a little weird that I would be thinking of that like very specifically. Um, it's just hard to know for sure. And to be honest, I don't even think I could even tell you where Saudi Arabia is exactly on the map. I'm by no means a geological kind of guy. I know where America is. I know where Canada is. Australia. Like, I don't know. It's like certain places like that, like Saudi Arabia. It's like I don't know. It's somewhere in the Middle East, right? But anyways, the last thing I want to do is, you know, just tell you nonsense. But I just wrote all this down in case that it could maybe be very significant. Like, I don't even think I could confidently tell you what shape Saudi Arabia is. Like, I had no idea what if you look on a map, what the outline of it is. But I remember it being like somewhat like rectangle or like squarish in shape. And I just, after writing this down, I looked up what the shape was on a map, and I think it basically was that shape. It does look kind of squarish, if I have any better way to describe that. But yeah, I believe that's what I saw being wrapped up, was that shape of Saudi Arabia being wrapped up in bubble wrap. And I had the thought in my head that it was Saudi Arabia. So if they're near Israel, that could make a lot of sense, right? Because Israel is, of course, the center of the world in God's eyes. It's the key player regarding the end times. You could maybe call Israel the, main character, if you will. So is Saudi Arabia near Israel? Okay, so here's a picture of the map that I found. This huge area is Saudi Arabia, and then this little sliver of land is Israel. Yeah, I'd say they're pretty close. So, you know, uh, I don't know if you want to do anything with that. I don't know if you might just want to ignore me, tell me to shut up, because like we have dreams all the time, right? I mean, some people don't dream very often, and I don't I don't think I dream every night. I don't know. It's hard to remember dreams, but I just it just it's such a difficult thing because it's like, do I make a video about this or not? Because how do I know if it's from God or from the enemy or just my own thoughts? And I mean, I did pray about it and I didn't hear a no, not to, so maybe this is important. Maybe that means something. And I do think it's interesting because I don't even know if it's relevant, if it's even important for us to know where the Antichrist currently is, where they're going to come from. I don't know if there's any reason for us to know that, if we're not going to even be here after the rapture happens and then the restrainer is let free to cause terrorism on the world. The Antichrist is well, he's copying what God did with having his son Jesus. The Antichrist is basically like the devil's son. It's basically what they're doing there. And, it's really bad. Like, who's worse than the Antichrist? Like it's going to be nuts. And, whoever's going to be here, God have mercy on them, because it's not going to, there is no good, like no, you're going to die at some point if you're here during the tribulation, most likely. Most people, like half the planet's gonna die over that course of 7 years, and it's gonna be bad. But just, again, take this very, very lightly, and it's probably not even something we need to know, right? But all I'm saying is that's what popped in my head this morning as I was in bed, and it would feel wrong for me not to share that, But I'm not claiming to say that as fact. I'm just saying what I had in my head. Okay, so he might be from Saudi Arabia. That would make a lot of sense. I think that makes perfect sense, actually, given that the Antichrist he's probably going to be in somewhere in the Middle East, you know. But yeah, it's very early. And, well, have a great day. God bless you guys. Peace.